What's going on, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how you can start and scale an info offer to 100K per month. So whether you are someone that's a complete beginner, maybe you have an audience and you just want to monetize that with a coaching offer or with an info offer, this video is for you. Or even if you're someone that is doing 20 to 30, 40K per month, and you just want to revamp that offer and build an offer that can take you to 100K per month. So in this video, I'll be breaking down the 5 steps that I take my clients through and that I use to build 100K, 200K, 300K offers for my client. So I'm going to run you through this presentation. As you can see, I have the 5 steps on screen right now on this Figma presentation I put together for you. And I first want to start off, what is an offer? What is the importance of an offer? Now, if you are building an info product company or you're scaling an info product company, the offer is overlooked quite a lot. Now, with good marketing, you can definitely market and sell a bad offer, an average offer, and you can still do okay. If you've got good sales, you can sell a bad offer at a good level. If you have a bad offer, there's gonna be limits. If you have an amazing offer, the offer sells itself. You get referrals. The marketing is so much easier because you have so much more results. So a really, really good offer, a world-class offer is the foundation to an amazing info business that can scale to 100K, 200K, 300K, 500K, even $1 million per month. It really is about the offer and the offer positioning. So let me make something very, very clear is what's an offer versus a product? A product, people often confuse an offer and a product because a product is your list of deliverables. So if you ask someone, what is your offer? They're often going to tell you, I do one-on-one coaching. I, give them a course. I teach them how to trade. I teach them how to do e-commerce, but that's not actually your offer. That's your product. People do not buy your product. They actually are going to buy your offer. So your offer is the transformation that you are selling, okay? So you can see right here, the importance of the offer, okay? The offer is the transformation that you're selling. So what people actually buy, like I just said, they do not buy one-on-one coaching. They do not buy group coaching. What they do buy is the transformation, okay? And it's usually one that you have already gone through yourself, because selling to the person that you used to be that's about to go through the transformation that you went through is going to be the easiest sale in the beginning because they can relate to you, they can resonate with your language, that kind of thing. So this is exactly what I do. This is the exact steps that I take my clients through, or I show my clients what to do in order to create their own offer or their own world-class offer. And it's all going to start with the client avatar creation and refinement. So of course, if you already have an info product, if you're already selling an info product, then you need to refine your client avatar. And I'll show you how to do that. If you're someone that's a complete beginner, then you need to create a thesis, or you need to create a client avatar that either is who you used to be or someone that you know that you can help. Okay, so the foundation is the market research. The key questions here that we want to answer is, what are their daily challenges, or what are their, let's say, their pain points? What's really causing them pain? What's really causing them pain, or what's keeping them awake at night? What are those key pains? So if somebody, let's say you're in the biz op space, you set a business opportunity, whether it's trading or e-commerce or, one of these very common info products, one of the main challenges is going to be, or main pain points is going to be, don't have enough money, right? They don't have enough money, but you can even go deeper than that. They don't have enough money to travel, right? So they feel like they don't have freedom. They don't have enough money to look after their family. So they're worried that if, their parents ever got sick or siblings ever got sick, they wouldn't be able to take care of them. These are some pretty deep pain points. And of course, they can go a lot deeper than that. What's their desired outcomes? Usually it's going to be kind of the opposite of the pain points, or overcoming those pain points. But maybe your ICP, maybe they don't have any pain. Maybe they are just okay. Maybe they're sort of these people that have a good career, they have a good family, but they just have a unfulfilled desire, maybe because they have friends that are richer than them and they have nicer cars, etc. So what's really pushing them is actually an unfulfilled desire rather than a pain point. But usually, a lot of the people are going to have both. What's actually stopping them from getting there, and they might not always know that if they're not solution aware, okay? What are their limiting beliefs? What have they tried before? These are kind of the key things that you want to get. Also, you want to kind of niche down to their age, right? How old they are. Are they male or female? Are they married or single? Are they in college, or are they full-time working? Are they unemployed? Like, you do really want to get as specific as possible, because the more specific you are, the more you can tailor the language of the offer and of your marketing materials and of your content in order to create messaging that resonates with that avatar a lot more. And so again, you're going to sell a lot more. It's going to be a lot easier. So why it matters, why niching down matters, I just kind of mentioned it there, but you're going to have more specific targeting. So you have higher conversions, lower cost per lead. Broad targeting, obviously you're speaking to nobody, right? If you use very broad language, you might speak to people a little bit, but if you have a very, very niche targeting, you're speaking exactly to that person. When they see that ad, when they see that piece of content, they literally feel that you are talking to them. So they're going to click, they're going to opt in, they're going to watch your VSL, they're going to book a call, and maybe they'll buy. So again, higher revenue potential here if you're niching down. Now, how you can actually do this market research, it's very simple, okay? Or it's not. So how you can do this market research is going to depend on whether you have a product or not, whether you have an audience or not. It really matters where you're at. So I'll tell you a couple of ways. There's a few ways you can do it. And I would recommend not just doing market research into your ICP, but also to do competitor research as well. See what's already working, see what kind of messaging is already working, and maybe you can steal some of those ideas as well. So if you already have an audience, like an Instagram following or a YouTube following, you can conduct interviews with your followers. Okay, so if you don't have an info product, but you do have an audience, this is the best way to go. So what you're going to do is you're going to post a series of polls and you're going to ask questions. For example, you could ask, how long have you been trading? 0 to 1 years, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 10 years plus, for example. That's going to give you a gauge of, first of all, how long have your audience been trading? Who's interested in trading? Who's ever traded before? Who's ever made money with trading? You will know what kind of questions you need to ask to kind of understand your ICP. But then what you want to do is you actually want to get at least 10 to 20 people on an actual call. Okay, so the way you can incentivize them is you can say, look, I will, give you, a 30-minute coaching session, or you can let them know, look, you'll have first access to my mentorship when I launch it, but I just want to get some feedback from you guys and really see what you guys are looking for. Okay, so those interviews, you can come on, you can ask questions around like, do they want one-on-one coaching? Do they want group coaching? Do they need a course? Do they not need a course? Do they need live trading sessions? Do they not need live trading sessions? Do they need you to recommend a broker or not? You can ask all these different types of questions, community, no community. Like, you will know what you can offer. So you will know kind of what questions you need to ask, but it's going to be around the program. It's going to be around the support. It's going to be around the community aspects. It's going to be around what exactly do they feel they need to learn. Okay, but it's also going to allow you to see who's in your audience, right? Is it just guys that are booking calls? Is it just girls that are booking calls? It's really going to give you a good gauge. Okay, now if you do not have an audience, you can use AI tools to create a thesis around an ideal avatar. So what you can do is you can just go into ChatGPT, for example, give them a bit of information, give ChatGPT or Claude a bit of information around what you do. So this is my name, this is what I do, this is my story, this is the offer, this is the transformation I'm going to sell. So for example, it could be learn trading. So, you can give them an idea of what your offer is. So for example, I help existing aspiring traders become profitable in 90 days so they can finally quit their 9-to-5, or so they can finally, travel the world, or so they can finally support their family. For example, you can let them know what your exact offer is, and then they're going to tell you who would be the best avatars for this. Ask it to give you the top 5 most profitable avatars. Then you can pick one that you believe you would resonate most with, or use yourself, use your old self before you actually had your transformation and got to where you was as the ideal client avatar. And then take the pain points, the desires, the limiting beliefs, etc., and just add to them. Add to ones that that you felt in the past, or that you can imagine, people feel, because at parts it is kind of obvious, like the main pain points people are struggling with, right? They don't have enough money, they can't travel, they don't like their 9-to-5, they feel like they're building someone else's dreams. Like, these are typical things you're going to hear on a biz off offer. And of course, if you're in a different niche, if you're in a B2B niche, it is going to be a little bit different. If you're B2C, it's going to be a lot more pain usually. If it's B2C, if it's B2B, it's usually going to be a lot more logical. It's going to be a bit more around desire and status, these kind of things. Okay, so very, very, very important. In terms of sample size, you want to have around 50 to 100 clients feedback usually. Okay, so once you actually create the offer, you want to work on those kind of sample sizes of getting feedback before you go into version 2. So usually you're going to start with version 1 of the program, and then you want to go into version 2 once you've got feedback from people that have actually been in the program. Now, a bonus tip, I didn't put it on here, but if you have an info product that you're already selling, you're already doing, let's say, 10, 20, 30K per month, maybe even a little bit more. If you have current sales calls, you can just take those sales call transcripts. Let's say you use Fathom, for example, take 10 transcripts, put them into Claude, and then ask Claude to tell you all of the pain points, objections, concerns, and limiting beliefs in all of those sales calls. And also ask it to give you direct quotes. And that's really going to allow you to build a full picture of the things that your clients are struggling with. So now when it comes to creating hooks for content and for ads, that kind of thing, and your ads, content, etc., and also what you're going to solve in the program, it makes it so much more easier. So it's not even just helping you with your offer, it's also helping you with how you're positioning your offer, marketing your offer in your content and in your ads. Okay, so that's the foundation. That is where you're actually building the client avatar in order to make it the best offer, to have the best offer statement, and of course for your content and for your ads, which is how you're really gonna sell your offer. Okay. So the next thing is actually going to be building the transformational statement. Now we have the client avatar, we know what kind of words we can use to resonate with them and to make this the best offer for that client avatar. So here's some key points, the framework guidelines. Number 1, we want it to be simple enough for a 7-year-old to understand, right? If you have kids, imagine you told your kid this, right? If you have younger siblings, cousins, etc., imagine you told them what the offer is. Would they understand it? Because if they don't, then the chances are you're going to be missing out on sales, right? It needs to be super simple. You also have the corner store test. If you just went into a random shop, right, off license, corner store, depending on where you are from, and you told them about your offer, you told them what you do, would they understand? If they don't, chances are you probably have not made it clear enough, okay? When you make your initial draft of exactly what you do, remove 50% of that initial draft and include guarantees where appropriate. I would actually say pretty much always add a guarantee. It just depends on how hard that guarantee can be. What I mean by that is it going to be a money back guarantee, or is it going to be we work with you for free until you get the result? Obviously make sure that you can actually hold up the guarantee. Like, don't just promise them a guarantee and then don't give it to them if they meet all the requirements. If you need to have stipulations in there, do it. But usually stipulations are going to make the guarantee not sound as good anyway. Okay, so make sure the stipulations are not too extreme. Make sure people can actually hit the goals in order to get the guarantee, because otherwise there's no point having them. Okay, now something that I want to make very, very clear, this kind of goes into the market research and also building out the transformational statement. We want to tap into the 6 human needs, right? For example, everybody in the world, they will resonate more with one of these needs than the other, right? One of their core needs will be stronger, or in multiple of these at the same time, right? Some people, they want certainty. Some people, they want more variety, which is kind of uncertainty. Some people might want certainty, but also a little bit of variety, right? Some people really value significance. Some people value more love and connection. Some people value more growth, and some people value more contribution, right? So everybody's a little bit different. So we need to figure out with our ICP, what are they valuing the most? For example, if it is a trading offer, and your ICP is generally, a younger guy, let's say, they're probably going to value more significance, right, in terms of success and status, right? Because they want status because they want to be viewed as someone that is rich, wealthy, confident. They want to be able to get a lot of women, right? So usually the significance and growth is going to be what they're going to tap into more, especially this generation. Let's say people that are, let's say between 18 and 25 right now. I would say also, of course, they want certainty, right? I think they definitely want certainty, but from what I've seen anyway, they really value variety. They don't want to be settled in one place. They do not want, people don't want to buy houses as much anymore, especially in the entrepreneurial space anyway. They want to be able to travel. They want to be able to rent places. So they definitely value the variety, right? So if you can really tap into that, or if you can really understand that, when you're building your transformational statement, you can use language that really resonates with them. And you would have heard me repeat this a lot of times, like using the language that resonates with them, but it's so important because it does give you, like here, higher revenue potential, lower cost per lead, more specific targeting, right? And so can you take your offer or take your product and, you know, later down the line, start making it resonate with more ICPs and have different angles and different messaging for different ICPs? Definitely. But in the beginning, you're going to have much slower progress, and if you don't niche down. Okay, so that's definitely or that is super important when creating your transformational statement. Step 3 is creating your unique mechanism. Now, why this matters is because the market is more sophisticated than ever. Okay, I think we've all seen this, right? The market is more sophisticated than ever, and that's mainly because info is not a new thing anymore, right? Info and coaching has been around for a while now, and most people out there in the market have at least seen something. If not, they've bought something in the past and maybe they've had a bad experience, and there's so many promises. And obviously some niches are more contested than the others. For example, trading is super contested. I know this because I have a lot of clients in the trading space, and there's a lot of competition. So, and as well as that, everyone's already taught all of the different strategies there is, right? There's not an infinite amount of strategies. Now, you can have different names, or you can have maybe slight different variations, but there's still multiple people using it. People catch on very quickly, okay? So your solution likely already exists. You need differentiation to stand out. And also, people want to believe they found the new answer, right? They want to believe they found the new special, you know, they want to found, people want to believe they found the new answer, right? They want to believe they found the brand new strategy, the strategy that's going to solve all of their problems, right? That no one's ever heard of, and that they're first in the market. So that's why your unique mechanism is so important. So what is a unique mechanism? It's basically a unique way of saying what you're doing, right? Without using the words that have been used all the time. So for example, Brez Scales, right? Absolutely crushing it right now. Pretty sure he's doing over $1 million a month consistently right now. I know they hit $1 million a month a couple months ago. But essentially what he's doing is he's teaching people how to run ads for brands, right? Mainly for clothing brands, but I'm pretty sure they probably run them for other e-commerce brands as well. But essentially what they're teaching them is how to start a marketing agency. But as we know, so many people have taught offers on that, right? Have taught people how to run ads, have taught people how to start a marketing agency. He calls it freelance brand scaling, and it sounds completely different. It sounds completely unique. It sounds like something no one's ever heard of before. And yes, he has an amazing personal brand. Yes, he has an amazing content ecosystem and a way to convert leads. But essentially, because he calls it freelance brand scaling, it sounds new, it sounds fresh, it sounds exciting. And he sounds like, or he is kind of the first person in the market to call it that, right? So whenever someone says freelance brand scaling, of course you think of Brez. So here you can see, right? Same core teaching, but it sounds fresh and unique, and it cuts through the market noise of a very sophisticated market. Okay, so that's step 3. Step 4 is then actually designing your deliverable and your activation points. So this is how, so now you have your offer, right? The transformation that you're selling. You have the statement that shows that, right? That you use in your messaging, your marketing. You have your unique mechanism, which is what makes you stand out, right? Which is the name for the offer or for the product. And then your product is how you actually deliver the offer, right? So if your transformational statement is, I help coaches scale to 100K per month without having to build or manage the sales team, without how to hire a marketing team, and without having to, XYZ, maybe you add something else on there. That's your offer. That's your transformational statement, but how do you actually deliver on that, right? Are you doing some done for you stuff? Are you doing the one-on-one coaching, right? This is where the product, I guess, actually comes in that helps you deliver on that offer, okay? So key considerations. For the client, we want the fastest path, okay, to the transformation. We want the least amount of risk, the least amount of friction, and the maximum results, okay? So they want to do it in the shortest period of time with the less amount of risk, with the highest perceived likelihood of achievement. And Alex Hormozi's formula that he created still rings true to this day. I think most people are doing it, so we still need to make it a little bit better. We still need to have very strong guarantees. But it goes without saying, we need to make it as easy or sound as easy for that client coming into your offer, your product, your company. And so for you, what's also important is it needs to be scalable. If you're just doing everything one-on-one, it does come to a point where it's just not scalable anymore. You only have limited time. It needs to be an effective use of your time. It also needs to be a sustainable business model. So your delivery options is obviously way more than this, but you can do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, self-paced, hybrid approaches. Maybe you're doing group coaching throughout the week. You're offering, monthly one-on-one check-ins. You've got a course, you've got resources, you have a community, you have in-person meetups. There's loads of different stuff that you can add in there to what your kind of activation points or what your deliverables are. You really just need to sit down and think, how can I get this client? Again, it goes back to this. How can I get this client the fastest results with the least amount of risk for them, with the maximum results for them in the least amount of time possible for them, all while still being scalable for you, effective use of your time, and something that's sustainable that you can do month after month after month after month. And it goes without saying, obviously, getting them results, right? I need to make sure I'm being very, very clear on that, is you need to make sure you're getting these clients results. Otherwise, you're not going to be around for very long. And so step 5 is putting it all together, okay? So the complete offer formula, your specific client avatar, okay? The transformational statement, what your actual offer statement is, the unique mechanism, the thing that makes you stand out in a very sophisticated and competitive market, and the optimal way of actually delivering it, i.e. your actual product, okay? Your deliverables. That is what makes a world-class offer. How this impacts everything, although I touched it on earlier, if you have an amazing offer, it sells itself, okay? You have referrals, you have people that come to you and close in the DMs. You have people that will buy without any friction. You have a lower cost per lead. You have a better funnel metrics, right? You have a higher opt-in rate. You have a higher call to lead to booking rate, okay? Which means you have cheaper, lower booked calls, which means you have higher ROAS, right? You have a higher return on your ad spend. So it really trickles down into your marketing, to your sales, into your funnel, into your fulfillment. Of course, your fulfillment, right? Because if you have a good offer and you're actually getting the results, it feeds back into it, right? Your marketing is cheaper. The leads come to the calls more prepared and more interested. So your sales team's happy, your sales team performs at a high level. You can attract better talent. Your content is easier because you know exactly who you're speaking to, and your content goes more viral because you're speaking to that specific client. With your funnel, again, I just touched on the metrics. Your metrics look better, or your metrics are better. So it means that your cost per lead, your cost per booked call, etc., is cheaper. And again, that feeds back into your marketing. You have higher return on ad spend. Okay, so it literally all feeds into each other. So that's the 5 simple steps to building a 100K per month offer. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below or DM me on Instagram. And if you want to work with me, you can fill out the application that's going to be in the description and see if we're a good fit to work together. See you in the next one, guys.